the airport because we had a flight to San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it was very important for us to meet you because we know how active is Korea in the crypto space, and that all of you, we read your bios, very impressive people, very involved in the community. So just a little bit of background about myself. My name is Barak Ben-Ezer. Both Roy and myself were in the Israeli intelligence, the Israeli counterpart of the NSA. And I've been in tech since I was 7 years old. I started coding. And I did also in the army, and then I went to America. I studied both computer science and economics at Columbia University. It took me some time to understand why I studied computer science and economics. I worked a bit in Wall Street, and then in Microsoft in the Redmond headquarters. And then I had a startup that was grew to 400 employees at the peak. We developed the first mobile trading app for FX, for currencies. And then I sold my shares and I discovered Bitcoin in 2013. And I fell in love, both in the tech and the promise for a better decentralized world. Because I don't know if you are all, if you know it, but today is a very, very special day. You know what is the date today? August 15th.
Korean Independence Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, congratulations. Now another thing is very important happened on August 15th. In August 15, 1971, President Richard Nixon canceled the convertibility of the US dollar to the gold.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's right.
And since then, the world is in influx, right? Because you know what Voltaire said in the year 1726? He said, paper money eventually goes back to its intrinsic value, zero, right? So we're now in a world where government just print more and more paper money. And they're diluting the capital of the middle class, and they're creating inequality and a lot of problems in the world. So we're fascinated in the promise of decentralized money, actually, because we believe that a computerized algorithm is more suitable to control the money supply than humans. If you give a human politician the ability to control the money supply, it's just a matter of time until they start printing it. So this is why I'm going to present you now Sovereign. Another founder of this project is perhaps the most senior international banker in the blockchain space. His name is Dr. Peter Ditus. Are you familiar with the Bank of International Settlements?
Yes.
So, you know, there's the World Bank, the IMF, and there's a third one, the Bank of International Settlements, or the BIS. It's actually the biggest one of them. It's under the radar. It's the central bank of central banks. It's owned by the Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of Russia, the Central Bank of the UK, etc. Manages $300 billion of central bank reserves. And Dr. Peter Ditus was the Secretary General of this organization, and he's one of the founders of SOV. Roy, let's go to the next slide. Our goal with SOV is to create a cryptocurrency that can integrate with the banking system. Because right now we have crypto, right? It's like a small island, and we have the global economy. And they're not really connected. And the big reason for that is that crypto is not money, right? Well, you can go to the next slide. Next slide. We wanted to create a crypto that is actually money. Why it's money? Because let's go back to the legal definition of money, right? What is money, legally speaking? Why is Bitcoin not considered legally money? And let's say the dollar, the shekel, or the euro are money. The legal definition of money, the legal definition of money. The legal definition of money is something which is the legal tender of a sovereign nation. Okay? Because the euro is the legal tender of Europe, it's money worldwide. Because shekel is legal tender of Israel, it's money all over the world. Why is Bitcoin or Ether not money legally? because it's not the legal tender of any sovereign nation. So in 2014, the US IRS came up with a guideline saying that because cryptocurrencies are not money, they're actually property. And therefore, you need to pay capital gain tax. If I were to buy this mill now with Bitcoin, I need to pay capital gain tax. So we went on a mission to find the first sovereign nation in the world that will agree to create their legal tender as crypto, right? So we introduced SOV. SOV is the world's first crypto, which is real money. It's going to be out in half a year, and once it's out, it's going to create a revolution in the crypto world because it's going to have the legal status of money all over the world. And I'll explain why. We went on this mission to the Republic of the Marshall Islands. It's a small nation in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but it's a sovereign nation. It's a member of the UN. It's a democracy. This is their president, Dr. Hilda Heine. And this is David Paul, the ministerial assistant to the president. That's me and Roy here. That's me in their parliament. And we went there and we pitched. We went there in the beginning of the year, January, and we pitched the government the idea to issue a currency that would be cryptocurrency. Now, the Republic of the Marshall Islands before that didn't have a currency. They're using the US dollar. And we explained to them why it makes a lot of sense for them. In 2018, if you're going to issue your sovereign money, it should be on the blockchain, and it should be decentralized. And we actually, before we went there, we had a list of all the sovereign nations of the world. There's only 195 of them. Because a corporation, you know, Facebook with all the power cannot create a legal cannot create money. Samsung cannot create money. Only sovereign nations have the legal power to create money. And we're looking for a country that is very small, because the smaller the country, the easier it is to do stuff there. A democracy, so it has good international connections, and that they don't have a currency yet. There's only like 3 countries in the world that answer those parameters, and the Marshall Islands were one of them. This is us in the Marshall Islands, Roy, myself, and Dr. Peter Ditus. And we went there in January, and we said we're not going home until we're going to succeed with that. And we stayed there for more than 2 months in the Republic of the Marshall Islands. We got an agreement with the government. We signed an agreement. Our company, Nima Technologies, has the exclusive license now to issue the sovereign money of the Republic of the Marshall Islands. And we helped them create the legislation to create this legal tender. And then we lobbied for it in the parliament. And after 3 readings in the parliament, it was passed. This is the law. This is a historic document. It's the first time that there is a declaration issuance of a decentralized digital money as a legal tender of a sovereign nation. And if you go to our website, thank you. We worked very hard for that, and we're actually very humbled by that, because we feel that what we've done is a big achievement for the crypto community at large. It was a dream for us personally to create a crypto that is money, and now this is something that's going to be at the service of the community at large. And most of the SOV units actually that we are entitled to are going to a non-for-profit foundation. Don't go there, go to that one. Okay, next slide, please. Now, we thought about it. You know, why banks, if we want to connect crypto to the big economy, we need to connect to the payment systems of the world. Now, why don't the payment systems like banks, why don't they like crypto? For 2 reasons. The first reason is that crypto is not money. They don't have the legal mandate to connect to it. PayPal can only work with something which is legally money. Same goes to Visa and MasterCard. They cannot even start a negotiation with something which is not have the legal stamp of approval that is money. So, first, you need to be money. The second thing is you need to be able to demonstrate source of funds. Now, cryptos are very bad at showing source of funds. So we're developing here a unique technology called Scash protocol that basically users identify themselves, and then the identity is encrypted on the blockchain. And when you go to a bank or PayPal, you can push a button and show the source of funds. Go to the next slide. Now, imagine what will happen once we have a cryptocurrency that is legally money. What will be the benefits? First of all, it will be taxed as a foreign exchange currency and not as property. So there's no capital gain tax. Only this thing is a huge, huge benefit. The second thing is you can actually buy a cup of coffee with it without paying capital gain tax. And the third, banks can store it. So you can actually get interest on it. You can connect it to SWIFT, to Visa, to PayPal. You basically have a bridge or a Panama Canal between cryptos and fiat, because SOF will be both.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So when you say taxed not as property, does that mean you would have a trade pair with a crypto, and the crypto trade would not be considered subject to property gains, but subject to I guess a different tax rate?
So first of all, SOF is a crypto.
Right, but I'm saying like let's say you have a trade pair with Bitcoin.
No, I mean that when you're buying, so now you have the option. Let's say you want to invest in cryptos. You can invest now, you can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Ether, you can buy whatever. Now I take my Bitcoins and I want to buy this thing. I will need to realize capital gain tax on this transaction in most countries in the world. Yeah. Instead, you can use SOF, invest in SOF, and then when you buy this thing, there's no capital gain tax because it's money, just like dollar and euro.
Yeah, so
now on the pair, if you bought Bitcoin with SOF, obviously if you took SOF and bought Bitcoin, you need to pay capital gain tax on the Bitcoin. But if you took Bitcoin and bought SOF, you will not pay capital gain tax on the SOF.
But you would pay capital gain tax on the Bitcoin.
Yeah, I cannot solve the problem of the Bitcoin. What we created here is an alternative, a better alternative to the existing cryptos. They don't have money. So we basically here are creating a new category. We're creating a new category of actually decentralized money. It's going to be the first crypto that is legally money. So it's going to open a lot of use cases that don't even exist today.
So is there a face value like money?
Yeah.
So come unit and face value together.
It's going to be a floating currency, right? So basically, huh?
No face value. What do you mean by floating?
It means that supply and demand will determine the price.
So there's no face value. Like $100, $1. No such a face value.
No, it's going to be face value, but in SOF. So 1 SOF, 2 SOF, 3 SOF, but not in dollars. It's not going to be pegged. It's not a
floating value.
It's a float. It's just like supply and demand, just like euro, dollar, Bitcoin. Supply and demand will determine the price.
It's kind of a hybrid coin, basically.
Why is it hybrid? Yeah,
Because at one hand it has face value, but on the other hand it is purely regulated by supply and demand.
But every coin is like that. Like the US dollar has a
No, it
face
has
value.
more parameters.
No, but it has $1 US. But how much will it trade for euros is dependent by what's the supply and demand in the market.
Of course, between them.
Between the pair. So 1 SOF is worth 1 SOF, but 1 SOF could be worth $20 or $100. It depends on the supply and demand.
Yep.
Money is a tool of fiscal policy, and every country they coordinate the volume. Every government coordinates the volume of their monetary money. Do you have any special contract with this?
Yes. So we are using an idea proposed by the renowned economist Dr. Milton Friedman. He said that actually countries will be better off if they had a constant growth in the money supply. And he called that, it's called the Milton Friedman K percentage. So you basically define a K percent like a constant. We took 4%, which is the average growth of global GDP in the last 30 years. And each year, the SOF money supply grows by 4%. right? It's actually quite low because Ethereum is like 12% a year. And the new money goes to the holders of stocks. So unlike inflation in fiat money of governments, that the inflation is actually going to the banks, it's not going to the people. Here the new money is distributed among the holders of the stock. This is a table that kind of shows you the tax treatment of FX, of sovereign money, versus crypto in different jurisdictions in the world, right? So this will be solved. This will be solved. This will be solved here because it's just a regular foreign currency, and here you have crypto, right? So for instance, in the UK, you have a tax rate that actually, this is the tax rate for FX, this is for Bitcoin. In the US, you have long-term capital gain tax of 23.8 and 37% on short-term holding, whereas if it's FX under the de minimis of $200 per transaction, it's zero. Japan is 20% versus 56%. Let's go to the next slide. This is the token allocation, if it interests someone. 50% goes to the Marshall Islands, different funds. Another 30% go to the Better Decentralized World Foundation. This is a foundation we have established that basically will help other countries to use our technology, the Zcash technology, to actually issue their also currency on the blockchain. And then we have 10% for the early contributors and early investors and early contributors. Let's go next slide. The team. I spoke a lot about myself already. We also have Roy, who is in charge of operations. Dr. Peter Ditus, formerly Secretary General of the Bank of International Settlements, and before that, the World Bank. Paul Werner is an MIT engineer, who is our head of our blockchain product. He's a great blockchain engineer. He just won actually the US Hackathon in Hong Kong, and last year he won the Ethereum Hackathon of BCG. And we have already also Uri, our CFO. Next slide. Our investors. So Nima is actually a Y Combinator company. You know Y Combinator? Y Combinator is the #1 accelerator in the world. Airbnb came out of there. Stripe, Dropbox, you know. They only accept 100 companies every year out of 10,000 companies that apply. Mark Pink is from Zynga. Doron Schneidman, the head of Israel's biggest insurance company. And Jeffrey Woodruff is who owns one of the biggest hedge funds in America. Go to the next slide. We're now raising a first round before we do any public sale. It's a very selective round, very strategic people. It's limited to $5 million. And the people who are committed to this round are Patrick Barn, the CEO of Overstock, and now also of T0. They just raised like $200 million. And Peter Thiel. And Peter Thiel, I think you're all familiar with him. He's on the board of Facebook. He's the founder of PayPal, along with Elon Musk, and first investor in Facebook, Palantir, etc. Those are people who obviously are very interested in what we're doing, in the promise of a better decentralized world, where basically we have a cryptocurrency that is actually legal, finally has the legal stamp of approval that is money. This is the last slide. I think this is it. So thank you very much for your attention. And if you have any questions, I'd love to answer them. Yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of how much gets issued and under what conditions, can you explain?
Yeah, there's it's similar to Bitcoin, whereas in Bitcoin has 21 million, we have 24 million units, and each additional year you have another 4% that goes to the holders.
Each additional unit, 4%?
Every year, another 4%.
Goes to the existing holders?
Yes.
Okay. And then is it mined?
It's like a yearly reward, basically. It's pre-mined, and that's it. There's no more mining after that.
And then what is the chain technology you're using?
We're building, it will be launched on Ethereum, but likely it will be then transferred to a proprietary blockchain technology that we will build. But at first, because we want to launch fast, it's going to be built on top of Ethereum. And also, it's important for us to leverage all the ecosystem of Ethereum.
And how does Marshall Islands plan to handle volatility in the price?
Yes, so the Marshall Islands, there's going to be a second token actually issued on this blockchain. It's going to be called MOX. So if SOV is store of value, MOX will be medium of exchange, and it will be basically pegged to the dollar and backed by SOV in a manner or similar to MakerDAO. If you remember, if you know the stabilizing technology. Yes.
Yeah, what does your roadmap look like?
So we're pretty fast. From the moment we had the idea of going to sign up a nation, it took us, we went there and it took us 2 months to sign the agreement, create the law and pass it. And now we're basically finalizing the first round of investments, and then we're going to.
It was limited to 5 million, right?
Yes, 5. Yeah.
Okay.
5 and 3 are already committed. We're going to pick now investors for the other 2, and we want to launch it to the public really in the beginning of 2019.
When you say launch it to the public, you mean as a sale or as for use?
Sale, and also already used in the Marshall Islands and starting to roll it out.
So you closed the deal with the Marshall Islands when?
When did we close it? In
Like,
March.
In March. So what have you been doing development since then on the platform?
Yeah, because we need to develop. We had to develop this identity technology that will prevent money laundering. It will be basically the first blockchain that has also source of funds, but while preserving your privacy, because the data is encrypted on the blockchain.
You mentioned that there's another currency on the island, I mean the country, and besides this South.
Yeah.
Was Marcus or Max?
Mox.
So what are the difference between the two currencies?
No, Mox is going to be a stable coin. They will be backed by the reserves of SOV. SOV is like the gold, basically. But initially, only SOV will exist. And then, part of our technology is also a stable coin that will be backed by the SOV holdings. So if all goes well, SOV should be worth a couple $2 billion, right? And then we're creating a stable coin on top of it, because we recognize the need for also a stabilized coin, but also investors want to have an upside, right? So if you think about it, there are 2 usages of money: store of value and medium of exchange. And what actually Peter Thiel showed us is that those 2 functions, typically, they're not, they don't really coexist that well. You have tokens that are high velocity, but low market cap, and you have tokens that are low velocity and high market cap. So for instance, think about things that are good store of value, right? Gold, real estate, Bitcoin, they all have very low velocity. They don't really move that fast, but they have very high market cap.
Let me ask you in a different way.
Yeah.
It is the country, right? Nevertheless, it is the size of the country. There is citizens and nations like that. What are the benefits to the country or the citizen of the country?
Oh yeah, so
They can issue money because of free.
they're getting basically free money because
They use dollars without any problems.
You cannot
What's the
issue
problem?
dollars. You cannot issue dollars if you're not the US. You cannot make free money. Like Korea can make free money, but to make free money, you have
So,
to issue.
which means they can have create just actual money rather than just rely on.
you know, for instance, Hong
Why
Kong.
not they make their own money?
No, because you want other countries to buy it.
Yeah, the idea that the value of SOV is
Then the problem is there is a dependence on external force, right? Somebody can manipulate some other country's monetary system. Well, that's no good. I mean,
That's the
you
same
said the
as-
sovereign is all gone. You said the sovereign not to that not sovereign to the country. I mean, I'm maybe confused, but
What do you mean it's not sovereign for the money? It is sovereign for the country. It is going to be their official money.
Sovereign Mox.
Both of them. Sov for now. Mox is going to be step 2. It's down the roadmap. But yeah, right now they're going to have a floating currency. They will not suffer from that also because they're going to have the dollar circulating there concurrently, right? So basically their holdings, they're going to earn their salary and they're going to have their holdings in Sov, but the prices could still be denominated in dollar until the price of Sov will stabilize this time.
so the country have control on Mox, which is the actual currency.
No, they don't have control. So Mox is algorithmically controlled. There is a smart contract that kind of contracts and expands the money supply to keep the peg to the dollar.
이론에 따른 거. Do you have any plans for other countries?
Yes, of course. So this technology can be used in other countries.
그 나라가 결정을 못 하잖아요 지금.
일단 그 자체에 보면은 이 물가 빼고 인플레이션을 빼고 해서 통화를 자연증가율을 그걸 저희가 한다는 거예요.
그거도 뭘 할 수 있는
그걸
거죠. 못하게 하는 거예요.
I want to explain why we went to the Marshall Islands. Maybe it's not clear. We are all big believers in crypto, right? But how many of you actually bought something with a cryptocurrency in the last month? Who bought something with crypto in the last month? One guy. Now we have here some of the best minds and investors in cryptocurrency in the world, and only one person here uses cryptocurrency. Now why is that? Now why is that?
Because it's not a legal tender.
It's not a legal tender. It's not legal. It's not money.
It's just a speculation.
It's not. It doesn't have the legal status of money. If you want to have crypto used in mainstream settings, you have to have it as money. It has to be defined as money. A bank cannot accept a cryptocurrency today because it's not money. You know, banks have like a reserve ratio, a bank multiplier. You have only something which is legal tender can be counted towards the reserve ratio. Visa, MasterCard, their legal regulation mandates that they only work with sovereign money. So we wanted to create a cryptocurrency for the entire world that will finally be able to connect to the banking system. So the utility of SOV doesn't stem from the Marshall Islands. It stems from the utility of a cryptocurrency that is legally money. So basically think about Bitcoin. If Bitcoin market cap now is $100 billion and it's held by what? Like 1 million people around the world? Now you have a cryptocurrency that every bank can sell, every supermarket can sell, everybody can buy it. Why?
What happens if a country starts accepting Bitcoin as a means of payment for taxes, like Switzerland is improved?
So
and it becomes accepted as
the definition of money, the state definition of money,
is legal tender.
is something which is the legal tender of a sovereign nation. Now, the definition of a legal tender, there's a lot of misconception about what is a legal tender. Legal tender is a very strong definition. You know what is the meaning of the word fiat? Fiat in Latin is by decree. It means that it's a legal obligation to accept payment in this currency. So for instance, if I go now to Switzerland, and there's a big meal here, and at the end of the meal, I put dollars on the table, the waitress, she may or may not accept payment. But if I put Swiss francs, they are obligated by law to accept the payment. It's an obligation by law. So because it's an obligation by law in a country, then it's money worldwide. Now, I don't think that any country in the world will say that it's an obligation by law to accept it.
In some countries, that's not good. In some countries, it's only the obligation for taxes to be paid with that currency, not customers. Customers are not obliged to accept in the US.
Yeah, but even in Switzerland, per what you said, I don't.
In the US, they're not obliged to accept dollars.
It's
not obligatory.
It is actually. I can show you the law actually, but in Switzerland also, even in Switzerland, what you said with the taxes, maybe you will be able to pay taxes with Bitcoin, but you will not be obligated to pay taxes with Bitcoin. So therefore, it doesn't meet the legal definition of money, which is critical, because if you want to pass the legal system, you have to be at the highest possible.
So in the Marshall Islands, you'll be obligated to pay the soft taxes.
This is what the legal tender means.
How many people live in the Marshall Islands?
53,000 people.
And you were talking, the question of Malcolm was about obviously the stability of cryptocurrency. So you're saying that there's a MOX that's down the road. So
yeah.
You're saying that it's basically a stable coin. So it's pegged to the dollar?
Yes.
So it's like a tether basically.
Yeah, no, not like tether. Tether is pegged by reserve. It's basis. You know basis? Basis. You know they call basis.
Pegged by US dollar.
Yeah.
It's a peg.
The MOX, not the SOF. But I don't want to speak about MOX is not relevant right now. But it's about SOF.
MOX is pegged by SOF.
It's reserved by SOF.
It's reserved by SOF, but it basically means that the reserve of the SOF, if SOF basically fluctuates up and down, you will have to change the reserve, right?
Yeah. So the reserve is like you hold like basically 30% reserve to represent
reserve.
Yeah. It's like a maker die. You know the model of maker die.
Yeah.
It's very similar. So if all goes well, you know, the Marshall Islands and the South will be like Hong Kong, you know. Hong Kong was just a small island, but why it became like a global financial center? Because Hong Kong was the only way to trade between the West and China. And in the same manner, SOF, for a while, may be the only way to traverse between crypto and fiat, because it's both. So SOF can be traded in cryptocurrency exchanges, but it can also be traded in a bank trading floor. It can be connected to the crypto rails, but it can also connect to Visa and MasterCard and Swift. So imagine you have this like hybrid wallet, crypto wallet that holds SOFs, and on the other hand, it's also connected to a SOF bank account. And you can decide if you want to hold your money in a wallet or in your bank account, if you want to use the crypto rails or pay with a credit card.
Can you tell us which other countries are preparing for this, working with you?
It's very hard right now to see other countries that will go through this route. You know why? Because we insisted on having a cryptocurrency that is fully decentralized. Right? That the government cannot print more money. And it's hard to find a country that will be willing to relinquish total control of the money supply. So SOF might be actually reach very high market cap before other countries will join. But we have the technology for that already.
Okay, any other questions?
So, help me understand the total amount of currency that's getting issued. You said it's 24 million actual SOF will get printed, but you don't have a base price for the SOF, do you? Like, will the SOF start out as $1, start out as a penny, or what is your, what is the initial price? Because ultimately it will be determined by supply and demand, right?
Yeah.
But you have a starting point in mind, correct?
Right now, we're raising money actually into our company. We're not saying the token. We typically don't sell the tokens right now directly. And the process of issuing the SOF will be actually in probably in a decentralized ICO. So basically, the market will determine the price. But we aim for a price, a market cap of at least $1 billion from like a year since it's issued. Because when you think about it, it's going to start a whole new category of decentralized money that doesn't exist today. There's no other cryptocurrency in the world that has the...
Why $1 billion?
Why $1 billion? Wow.
Why not $1 million or 10 million?
Because we believe that there's going to be significant, these are predictions, right? But we believe,
I mean, prediction based on what? I mean, anyone can just say $1 billion, but what's it based on?
it's based on the fact that there's only one basically decentralized money in the world. There's no other one. You can see the list of all the biggest coins in the world. They're called cryptocurrencies, but they're not really legally, they're not currency. Legally, they're just basically someone's idea, right? There's going to be only one decentralized money cryptocurrency in the world. And this is the SOC.
Legally.
Legally.
Yeah,
Legally. So if a company, let's say a big company, a big international company, would like to do settlements in crypto, they don't have right now the legal ability to do it. It's not money. You cannot write it in your books. Yeah.
But your valuation is fiat. Like you still, I understand it's unique. I understand it's one of a kind. But you haven't given me any logic to rationalize $1 billion of market cap.
Yes.
You're basically doing fiat. You're saying no, it's going to be $1 billion. But you haven't given me any logic for understanding how to come to that.
It's our prediction, but it's going to be, again, we're not actually on the public issuance. The price is going to be floating, and the public will determine how much they're going to pay for that. We're not going to set the price. It's just going to be fully floating.
And how do the tokens get issued from 0 to 25 million?
They're all pre-mined.
Okay, so
is there a conflict with decentralization, the fact that you have an exclusive right for the issuance of some?
We have exclusive right to develop it, right? But we only going to hold like each one of the founders like 0.5% to 1%. So I don't think it's a big. I don't think it's a lot. It's still going to be pretty decentralized.
And the country, how much is it for?
They have 50%, and they're gonna sell half of it, and then the rest they're gonna maintain. They have 3 funds that they set up. You know, I don't know if you guys know, but the Marshland was really severely hit by Americans. In the 50s, America did their nuclear tests. So in the Bikini Atoll, they detonated 57 nukes over there. So they have a lot of like problems like cancer over there and stuff like this. So they're setting up actually a sovereign healthcare fund to deal with all this situation. And they have also a green energy fund, and it's all the money is earmarked for like very good causes.
But I understand they don't have a currency currently. They use the US dollar. So they also don't have a central bank. They don't have a banking system, basically.
No, they have a banking system.
Yes, but they don't have a central bank.
Yeah, and they will not have one also, because the money is going to be decentralized.
I understand. But how are you going to avoid any kind of abuse of the currency? Well, I could think of, for example, starting to treat it like a tax haven, because it's no capital gain over there, or no capital gain on currencies.
Or if there is a financial crisis, your intent to cope with that.
To what, sorry?
Financial crisis.
Where? In the Marshall Islands?
Yeah.
Or?
There are investors moving there, and then they go away with their capital, no money. What happens then?
No, they can't take the money. How can they take the money?
Some money.
No, but they cannot take it. What do you mean? They can confiscate the SOC from people? It's fully decentralized. It's like just like any other crypto. If you invest in it, you hold it in your wallet. It's on the blockchain.
You cannot really touch it because it's on the blockchain.
It's actually much more safe than dollar or everything else. So, for instance, if there's now a financial crisis, in 2007 there were $7 trillion in circulation. A couple of years later, after the financial crisis, there are $15 trillion. So if you're holding dollar, you got diluted by at least 50%, right? But people are not aware of that. The SOV, you know what it is. You know what is the intention. The new money is actually distributed between the people who hold it. And even if there's a financial crisis, the Marshall Islands cannot print more of it. It's completely decentralized. If they will do anything, try to do anything to mess with the SOV, they will be shooting themselves in the leg because they're big holders of SOV.
So the benefit of being able to print money during a financial crisis is you can keep businesses operating that would otherwise go bankrupt.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah,
And
which is bad. It's called, it's basically
let me finish,
keeping like
let me finish my point.
Yeah, sure.
Because I guess this is more of a philosophical question more than a technical one. So I think, look, if I say I work at an auto company, and the auto company has 2 choices: take a huge loan from newly printed dollars and stay in business, or shut down, dismantled for parts. Now, as a guy working at the auto company, I much prefer the auto company stay in business, even if the dollar I'm getting is worth 5% less or 10% less. To me, that's still a better evil than losing my job entirely. So when you face the reality, right, of the way our banking system drives companies to disaster, right, through these financial crises, how would Saab address a